it's Brittany. The surroundings should seem a little familiar to you, but also a little bit different. I am back in New York City. Me and Danny got here safe. I should say Danny and I got here safely after driving to Tennessee and then driving up the East Coast back to New York City, and I'm all unpacked so I can check in with you guys again. The reason these are a little different surroundings is only because you're now at the opposite end of the bed that you were resting on in most of my previous videos. So you get to see something a little different. No fish in the background, a beautiful curtain instead. Anyhow, you guys are lucky because today you are going to be getting 2 videos. I was looking at all of the stuff I wanted to talk about and I realized it would probably be just too long and to manage in one video. So what you're watching now is going to be my whip and finish and haul update, and then I'm doing a second video that's going to be solely for my Stitch Mania plans. So look out for that one. It should be coming not too long after this one, depending on how quickly they upload and how fast and how much time I can devote to editing them. But let's go ahead and get started because I have a lot to talk about, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. As far as finishes go, I was showing you the original pattern that I made called Live, Love, and Laugh last time. Well, I finished it, and because it was a gift, it is also an FFO, meaning it is framed. The frame is actually one that I purchased at a store. It was originally brown, I think, but I painted it orange with just normal acrylic paint because we both wanted it to kind of have a popping accent color to go with all those bright colors in the cross stitch. The person it was for was very pleased with it. I'm very pleased with it too. If you're interested in stitching it, it is actually for sale on my Etsy store, which is Ingleside Imaginarium. And I'll try and remember to put a link to that in my video description. Now, I also got 2 more mini finishes done, and that is with my Brooke's Books Advent Animals. They are free for anyone to stitch on Brooke's Books publishing website. And last time I showed you I just started Duncan Dog, who was number 4, and I finished him. These animals were the stitch I worked on during the show, which is sadly over, but it closed well. Everyone was, I think people were ready to go. I would have enjoyed staying there a few more weeks, but I think everyone was pretty much ready to go. But yes, there is Duncan Dog. I just think he looks like a catalog model, you know, with his hands in his khaki shorts and or are those pants? I guess shorts since they don't go down to his toes. And his hat and kind of looking off into the distance. That's what I think anyway. And then I finished one more, and that is Hattie Hedgehog. And I think she's just too cute. Look at her balancing that teacup so well. And not only did she bring you tea for Christmas, but she also brought you a present. There's some cookies or scones or something in there. I thought she was really cute. All of those little backstitch / long stitch prickles really bring her to life as a hedgehog. She's just so adorable. And weirdly enough, oddly enough, I didn't have the dark color, so that's actually a substituted color. Don't ask me which ones either of those are because I'm not going to be able to remember. But I haven't started number 6 yet. Number 6 is going to be Cashmere Camel, but we'll see when I get a chance to start that. I've been busy working on a new start, which I will show you. In fact, I'll show it to you now. So I have a friend of mine from college who's getting married. For the life of me, I could not remember when she was getting married. And I really wanted to create a custom wedding sampler for her and her husband, fiance, husband-to-be. And the things that I knew that she really liked were Cats the Musical and Harry Potter. And although I love cats and she loved cats, it might be a little tacky to put on your wall or in your house. And you know, there's not really any good, like, love quotes in it. And compared to Harry Potter, which has so many meaningful quotes for so many people, I thought I better go that route. And while I did want it to reference Harry Potter, I didn't really want it to, you know, if a random person was casually walking through their apartment, I didn't want them to look and be able to say, oh yeah, that's Harry Potter. I wanted it to kind of look like it references the movie and the certain aesthetics of the movie, but that it is kind of its own standalone piece as well. And to start off, I just thought that the stag and the doe motif, which were the Patronuses of Lily and James, Harry's parents, you know, meant to be true love, whatever you would like to say, and the love for their son, I think, is also encompassed in this, because the quote that I ended up picking, I could have gone with always, but because the stag was in there, I didn't want to bring the stag in and kind of, you know, muddy Snape's sentiments in with, if you're not a Harry Potter fan, sorry, none of this is going to make sense to you, but I didn't want to muddy Snape's sentiments by having the stag, which was a symbol of James's rival, in there. So it's like, I don't really want to do that one. So what I ended up picking was some quotes from the last book, which is, you'll stay with me, as a question, you'll stay with me? And the answer is, until the very end. And here's a picture of what I came up with. As you can see, there's the silhouette of the stag and the doe, kind of a bust portrait, and filled in with a very simple black work motif, and then the initials and the wedding date are in the middle, and the text is at the top. And because they were kind of Patronus themed, I really wanted to find a cool hand-dyed, maybe a darker fabric, and do the stitch in all one color, all in white. And the reason I'm working on this is because I was so worried. I couldn't remember when the wedding was, and I thought that it was maybe going to be in May. So I was like, oh gosh, I need to get started on this. I ended up texting her when I got far enough that I wanted to put the date in, and she was like, oh, it's November. So luckily I have a lot of time to finish it, but because I had just made the pattern, and I ended up going to a stitchy store, an LNS in Nashville, Tennessee, and searched through their fabric and ended up able to find something that would work. And at that point I was so excited I didn't want to custom order any fabric. I wanted to get started now. So I picked this fabric. It is Twilight Mist by Witchholtz. And this is what I have done so far. As you can see, the fabric is a cloudy gray, and that's all in B5200. That's just the very bottom border. So it's got the 2 wands casting the Patronus spell. And of course here, I thought for something as magical as Harry Potter, the needle minder I would use would be my giant, beautiful purple dragon from Juliet Nifty Needle Nannies. And I think it's really coming along well so far. I am a little nervous about what I've gotten myself into picking a linen, but I was impatient and wanted to get this fabric, and I didn't want to have to order in an even weave. The only thing I'm worried about is the black work, but if it doesn't look good, it's my pattern, I can change it into something else. So I'm excited how that is coming along, and I kind of want to just work on it and get it done, but then I don't want it sitting around months and months and months as a finished object, just in case something should happen. Well, I don't know. So I got to that point and felt like a good stopping point, and I'll probably stop there for a while. So now I'm going to show you my works in progress. I worked on quite a variety of them this month. I pulled out some that you haven't seen for a while, so that's pretty exciting. The first one I'm going to show you is my Queen of Cats. Last time I showed it to you, I had just reached a point where I was excited to show it to you because I had finished a page of the stitching on the leopard herself. And I've gotten a little bit further than that. It's kind of tedious and slow going because it's all of this grass, and it tends to be a lot of just small amounts of stitching of different colors and then switching. So last time I had the ear done and all the way down the neck, all of the leopard, and now I have been working on filling in the grass behind her. And it was kind of really blah and boring until I started in on those greens. And now it's looking really nice. I think it's popping. If you don't recall what she's going to look like, I have the book right here. It is from Jane Netley Mayhew's Cross Stitch Safari book, and this design is of course the Queen of Cats. I had it and I lost it. Here it is. So I've gotten of course all of this done, and now I'm starting in on all of these grasses. And luckily there is a lot of green down here at the bottom too. I just think she's going to be gorgeous, and every time I make more progress on her, it's so exciting. I just am very excited about working on that one. So that's my Queen of Cats and where I've gotten. I didn't, I pick her up every few days. I was working on her, and then I started working on the wedding sampler, and so thought maybe I'd have more to show you. I really wanted to get all the grass done, but that didn't happen this time. I've got lots of time. It could happen for the next video, although with Stitch Mania coming up, I don't know how much I'll be stitching on things that are not included in that. Now this is a WIP you have not seen for a while. You saw it in my year in review video, but I finally pulled it out and said, you know what, I'm going to get some progress on that, and that is my After the Bath full coverage design that I'm doing. That is a painting, well, I converted it from a painting called After the Bath by an artist called Theo von Rijsselberg, who is a neo-impressionist painter. And the last time you would have seen this, I had just one page done. So it'll be pretty obvious what I finished since then. And that is another page row. So I got all of this done. And it was exciting to get all of that done, and I wanted to get to the end of the row, but I was okay to put it away after I got that row done. And that needle minder is Poison Ivy, the villain from Batman, who I got from Julie at Nifty Needle Nannies. And, I thought, I don't know, you have a naked redhead, and you could have a sassy redhead on. There is the needle minder, as silly as that sounds. It was funny when I was working on this and I was parking. I didn't want to keep two needle minders on it because they would stick together. But I had my Targaryen sigil too, which is from the Game of Thrones show, which has a lot of nudity, so it kind of made me laugh that, the Poison Ivy represented the redhead and then the Targaryen sigil represented the nudity. Oh, it sounds terrible. But it made me chuckle. And then the other project that I got some progress on, and that was just today actually, is I pulled out Peter Pan again. Now, poor Peter Pan has been in my stack of things I want to work on since I got to Wisconsin where I was doing the show, and I just never pulled it out. I was doing other stuff. So I finally got some work done on Peter Pan today. And you probably won't be able to tell too well what I did, but what I had last time was I had been working on this ocean, and what I did this time is I filled in all of the holes in the ocean. You can kind of see a dark blue-green color there, and then another of these orange colors, and then a very light gray-green, which I kind of continued over here. And I am liking this ocean. Last time I showed it to you, I was kind of upset that the colors I thought were kind of yucky and wasn't fun. It's still not necessarily fun, but that deep green helped add some color to the ocean. And then I just got a little bit of this blue in the clouds coming up above the croc's tail. So, slow progress, but any progress is progress. Everyone always quotes Katie, and I agree. Every little X counts. Every X is progress. So that's Peter Pan. And those are the WIPs that I worked on since I last talked with you. It doesn't feel like a lot, but I think it is. You know, I finished 2 animals. I finished the original pattern that I made, the Live, Love, Laugh pattern. And I got, you know, I would say, I mean, my full coverage design, I did, what would that be? It's like a block and a half, so it's more like, oh gosh, I couldn't even say 15 squared, which I don't know what it is, you know, like, or 15 times 10 would be the area of each of those little blocks. It's gotta be, you know, probably close to 1,000 stitches, which is nothing to, you know, turn your nose up at. Because each block is 100, and there are at least, a 10 by 10 block is 100, and there are at least 7.5 blocks, and then you'll add 50 stitches to each of those. So, I mean, it was maybe not quite 1,000, but pretty close, I would imagine. And, yeah, it was kind of fun to get some progress on that, because I hadn't worked on it in a while. Now I suppose we'll move on to some haul. I, of course, ended up going to a different needlework store near where I was in Wisconsin. And I guess I'll show you what I got from there. I wanted to kit up one of the patterns I'd had for a long time and really wanted to use specialty flosses for. So while I was there, I got some I felt bad going all the way out there. The town had a really nice pub, and so we had a beer flight, which was delicious, and they make their own, you know, they brew like 12 different varieties of their own beers. So we had a beer flight, we being me and Tommy, of course, and had delicious food, and had also stopped by this stitchy store. And so I just got a couple of different classic colorworks for the Little House Needleworks. Is that the one, or is it Country Cottage? Give me a second. It's back here in my mania pile. Oh no, it's Country Cottage Needleworks. And the one I kitted up, these threads are for this one. It's called In the Meadow. And so I got bamboo, which is just a white. I got, well, this one is not for that pattern. This is a new skein of garnet. And I picked up another one of those when I was in Nashville. Because if you recall, my Love is the Key pattern that was stitched in this for some good friends of mine who got married got lost in the mail. And so I'd really like to restitch that for them. So that's what that is. I couldn't find the classic colorworks black they looked for, so I just got a variegated black from Weeks Dye Works called Coal. Like coals, not like the coal you get in your stocking if you're naughty. This is hazelnut. This is steamed broccoli, which I think is going to look really nice. And that's bamboo again. And then bramble bush, which I think is also going to be nice. That actually is kind of the color of my hair. The lighter part is, I suppose. So I went to that stitch store and I got just those fibers. And then, of course, before I left Wisconsin, while I had access to this really wonderful, fantastic local needlework store, I had to go back. And, oh my gosh, you guys, I had a steady paycheck and I had a little extra in tax return money, blah, 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 blah. I'm justifying the fact that I spent a lot more money on fabrics. But I figure I don't have a place where I can shop for fabrics in person here in New York. And so having bought them all, now when I want to start these projects, I have it and I can do it. And I was able to pick the fabric out by looking at it. So this is going to be long, but those of you that enjoy looking at fabrics, this is for you. And I think you'll be excited as I am. When I was first starting out and I didn't have much of a stash, one of my favorite things was to watch everyone's hand-dyed fabrics. And so I know there's probably some people like me out there who, when they don't have it, they enjoy seeing it from other people. And now my goal when I went back to the stitch store, oh my gosh, which by the way, I am totally allowed to tell you about. It is called Lynn's of Madison. Lynn', Lynn's. And actually the second time I went there I was able to meet up with another stitcher. Her name is Amy, and I'm going to link her channel down below. I'm remembering all of these things. She just made her first video, so go and give her some love. I met her in person. She's just a very lovely lady. We had lunch, and then we went to the L&S. We went to Lynn's, and it was great. I'm going to link Lynn's website and their Facebook page down below. And all of the staff there was so nice and so interested in what I was doing. Ended up cutting all of this fabric for me. And, you know, we were able to talk, and I showed them some of my work and mentioned, you know, that I have the YouTube channel, and I didn't know if I could mention their name, and they were like, oh, please do. And I know, for example, that Amy lives within, I guess, an hour of this place and didn't know that it existed or had been to it a long time ago before she cross-stitched. So maybe some of you will now know about Lynn's, and I can share the love that I feel for them, and you can go and check out all their beautiful fabrics too. Anyway, before I went on that tangent, the reason I went was because I wanted to find fabrics for most of the rest of these carousel horses in cross-stitch. There's a design for each month. As you know, I've already started the Halloween horse last year and started it on a 28 count hand-dyed fabric, and so I wanted the rest of them to be on 28 count hand-dyed fabrics. So I sat for probably an hour going through her tubs of 28 count hand-dyed and even weave and in linen. And I was able to find one, I think, for each of them. I'm going to hopefully remember what each of these are for because they're not in order. Now, the only horse in here that I did not pick something for was March's horse. And I'm going to show you that one right now because hopefully then you'll understand. It's called March Go Round, but look at it. It's like a baby sampler. It's for a baby's room, and it's not really marchy, you know. I think the justification for it in the book was that Donna Cooler's daughter was born in March or something like that, and so that's why there's baby stuff. Like, that's the theme for March. Maybe if I'm really crazy, I'll figure out a St. Patrick's Day horse. I mean, that would be pretty cool to go along with these other horses. But anyhow, let's get to the fabric and let's get to these horses. So this first piece is for the December horse, which is December Delights. It's a Christmas themed horse. So as you can see, it has nutcrackers there, Santa's at the top, and red and white, and a little bit of greens. Well, I ended up picking this. It's a picture of this plus linen in Highland is the color, and that is, it's just greens. And this is different than Pampas, which I got last time for one of my cats. And so it's got, the lighter part is a rather yellow green, a lighter green. I didn't want anything too dark because I didn't think that it would look, I don't know, I didn't like the way maybe it would look on like more of a fur green, but I like this. I'm happy to have found that one. And then the next one is another 28 count linen, and I believe this one is for February, which is the Valentine's Day horse. Is that right? Yeah. And this was the pinkest fabric I could find when I was looking. That was a hand-dyed. I'm fairly certain that this one is a picture of this plus as well. Well, here's February's horse. He's a dapple gray, I'm guessing. And it's got the cupids and all the hearts and the red. And nothing too pink on there that I thought it wouldn't stand out on a pink fabric. So I ended up picking Arbor, which is this one. And as you can see, it's a very pale pink with a little bit of kind of a brown or gray in it. It's actually not too bad. It's more pink than that. But I have that one for February. And then the next one is one that I've seen all of you use quite often, but I have yet to use it. And I believe this one is for my August horse, which is August in Santa Fe. And again, this isn't really August, but I at least liked it better than the baby one. So it's a bucking bronco horse. I recently listened to, I listened to Lonesome Dove on audiobook and really enjoyed that story and thinking about the Wild West. So I really liked this horse. And I ended up getting some 28 count linen in Doubloon by Picture This Plus. I thought it was very deserty. And again, the color tones and some of the stitches are similar, but I think it'll look nice on this. I think it'll look like the desert. Because when I was considering, like a blue sky kind of look to it, but I think this is going to be good. And when I was listening to Lonesome Dove and them describing all the dust and stuff of Lonesome Dove and how hot it was and, the pigs trying to find water and cool mud and stuff to lay in and wanting to get into the watershed, etc., etc. I just, pictured desert with like tumbleweeds and scruffy plants and all that. So that's the one I picked for that. This next one is kind of a weird theme too for a month. But the next one is called A June Affair, and it's a wedding horse. And it's pretty enough that I was like, I could have that up in my house in June. And this one has pearl beads on it. But what I ended up picking out for that one is Sprite. It's a 28 count linen from Picture This Plus. It's Sprite. You probably cannot, actually that's not bad. It's just a very, very pale purple. It's interesting that this is Sprite because I have another piece of Sprite, but it's an even weave. And it's a lot darker. For some reason I thought it was the opposite. I thought linens maybe took dye darker than even weave did. But the Sprite is a lot more purple on the other piece I have. If you watch my Stitch Mania video, you're going to see my chocolate bunny sampler is on Sprite as well. So this next one is May, which is a Mother's Day themed horse, and I'm not sure that I'll type mom, or I'll write mom up there, because you can see it says mom up here under that boot. But I think it's pretty enough. Now for this one I wanted something dark enough that this fan motif would show up on and all of those whites and stuff, but I definitely didn't want to do it on black. So what I ended up picking was this kind of a dark bluey purple with a very subtle variegation. Like it's there between the purples and stuff. This is called Blueberry. It's a Jobelin, 28 count. And I actually don't think this is Picture This Plus. The even weave is very soft. I'm not sure who this is. Maybe it's Silk Weavers, because I know they had Silk Weavers there as well. I'm actually not entirely sure. That's what I'm going to do May on, eventually, when I get all of these started. So surprise, surprise, July is the 4th of July horse, and he is so beautiful. And I love Palominos, so I think he's just a gorgeous boy. Why is it a he? I don't know. He's a he. But I got a 28 count Jobelin in Summer Sky. And again, I'm not entirely sure who is the dyer of this one. Although this side is a little bluer, so that's probably the side I would use. I just thought the red, white, and blues, and it just looks like a clear summer sky. I mean, it's called Summer Sky, so I thought that would be great for the 4th of July one. it just makes me think of picnics and fairs and, you know, just patriotism and all that stuff. So I am excited to get to stitch that one whenever that happens. Next one is April, which is an Easter horse. Extra special April, another gray horse, well, white with gray points. I love the bunnies and the eggs and all of it. It's too cute. And the rainbow ribbons on the poles. So for that one, I got this piece of lavender Lugana. This one is probably the least variegated. It has just the barest of variegation. So, oh, it's more purple than that. My purples are not showing up well tonight. I should have done it during the day, but, well, I was watching Flosstube and stitching all day, and then I saw Jessie Marie's Mania plans, and everyone was putting out Mania videos. So I was like, I want to do my Mania video. And then I thought, well, if I'm setting up to do a video, I'm going to do everything. So I'm doing everything. The next one is January's. January is really cool. It's called an Enchanted January. And it's this awesome unicorn. And there it's stitched on white. And it looks great on white. Or maybe it's a gray. Must be a pale gray. But I couldn't find something I liked similar to that. So I ended up deciding to go darker. This is another picture, this plus linen. 28 count, it's called Mirage. And so that's what January is going to be on. Oh, I think it's going to be beautiful. All the, like, because the whole design is in whites and golds and some blues. Pale blues. I think it's going to look really pretty on this. And it's interesting because you look at what the pattern requires, and it requires all kinds of metallic threads. Almost every color I feel like is blended, so it's going to be a very sparkly horse. A very sparkly unicorn. And the last piece, well, the last horse fabric I got for one of my carousel horses is for September, which is a really cool zoo or circus themed horse. Why is the zoo or circus themed one in September? I don't know, but I'll put it out in September. You learn about all those animals in school, right? And September is always back to school, so that's why. Anyway, so I got all of those bright and beautiful colors, and the zebra himself being black and white. I got this really bright Jobelin. 28 count Jobelin in Babbling Brook. Oh, isn't that pretty? That looks great on camera too. That one is really nice. Ah, I'm such a sucker for hand-dyed fabrics, it's terrible. If I run into trouble with cross stitch, it's going to be fabric. Thankfully, as an actress with a day job in New York, I'm too poor to buy fabric all the time and to get on these subscription lists. Because let me tell you, if I could, I would be on every one of those and just start hoarding fabric because I think it's so beautiful. Now, the horses you did not see, again, were March, which was the baby one, which I don't know, maybe I'll consider doing. I have so many other ones to worry about until then that I'm, not going to worry about it right now. And October, which I already started, and then November, which is the Thanksgiving horse, I have a piece of Murky from Picture This Plus that I've had for a long time that I'm going to be doing him on. Some of these have got to be hers. I need to be fair and spread gender equality. But anyhow, that's all of my beautiful new fabrics, except for one. This one is really exciting too. I think maybe even picked out most of these fabrics and was getting ready to go when I saw this one, and I was just like, I have to have it. I'm going to be really sad if it doesn't show up very well on the camera. But this is called Gossamer. It's by Picture This Plus. It's a 32 count Lugana. Oh, it's too light on there. It's really more green in person. You can see the yellows there. Those are there. The yellows are there, but the rest of this color is a very light spring, elfin, like fairy green. Oh, it's so beautiful. I saw this fabric and I was like, I need to buy this. I need to stitch something on this. What can I stitch on this? And then I thought, you know what would probably look good? And I had kind of had this pattern in the back of my brain while I was at the LNS to try and find fabrics. Hold on one second. It's a little better. Anyhow, on this piece of gossamer, I'm going to be stitching the Crescent Moon Dragon by Joan Elliott. Oh my gosh. Now, I just think none of the greens are bright enough to get swallowed up on here, and I just think that the moon in white, shiny white on this fabric, and the oranges of his wings, and that dark turquoise of his body, and purples, I think it's gonna look really cool. So, oh my gosh, there's so much. I'm sorry. I really went a little crazy, and then there were some things that were ordered that came in, and one of the things I also received was my secret stitcher gift. Now, we ran into a little bit of a snafu with my stitcher. I'm not going to name any names, but I had thought, because I was away from home, it got shipped here to New York, and I had thought that my stitcher was a flake, and contacted Elisa, and Elisa tried to contact her, didn't get any kind of response, and so we just chalked her up that I didn't get anything from her, and so really generously someone else volunteered to send me a gift, and we had already arranged that. She had already purchased it and shipped it before I realized. I got back here and opened a 1, 2, 3 stitch envelope thinking maybe it was my Crescent Moon Dragon materials, and it wasn't. It was a gift from my original secret stitcher, but I will show it. And it is the Hair Fairy by the Lena Lawson Needleworks. It's the artwork of Pascal Mogaro. Oh gosh, it might be French. And Moguerou. I'm not French. I wouldn't know. That's the name there. It's Moguerou. Look at her. Look at the rabbit and her beautiful mane of wild red hair. Oh, I think she's so beautiful. I ran across this series of artwork by Lena Lawson Needle Arts, charted by them, and I fell in love. And there are, I think, 3 adorable fairies who have red hair. I'm so sorry. I'm a sucker for redheaded ladies and patterns. But there was this one, and this was the only one available on 1, 2, 3 Stitch. So I had put it on my wish list, and my first secret stitcher got this for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm, you know, I hope you're okay since Elisa couldn't get a hold of you. I hope everything is okay, and I appreciate you sending me that pattern. I, again, don't know when I'll start that, but it's nice to have. This one and the other fairies by this artist are interesting in the fact that almost every color you use on them, well, I guess there are some solid colors, but a lot of the colors are blended. There's a lot of blended threads. I have ordered the other 2 fairies on here, and actually I ordered this chart as well before I knew that it had been sent to me. So I am going to have an extra of this chart. It might be a giveaway. We'll see. But along with Secret Stitcher, I also received the second present that I got. And don't worry, I contacted my second Secret Stitcher, and we, you know, spoke, and she updated her wish list, and I ended up getting her an Etsy gift card that she could spend on some really cool stuff she had listed on there. So I did give her a gift in return. I felt a little bit like a cheater for getting 2 gifts, even though it wasn't, you know, really anyone's fault necessarily. Well, Lena Lawson Needle Arts had some other patterns by another artist that I really liked, and they are a series of Art Nouveau ladies representing like flowers growing in different regions, I guess. They're by an artist who was a female artist back in kind of the Art Nouveau period. I'm I'm guessing. I looked her up. I should have learned some more information about her to tell you. But the artist is Elizabeth Sonrel, and this is the first one. You're not going to be surprised. It's another redheaded lady. This one is called Fleur de Eau. Oh gosh, I don't even know. Which I guess means flowers of the water. I just love these. Oh gosh, I don't know what those are. There's lily pads and water lilies in the water and in her hair, and then there's these beautiful yellow flowers. And the other one I got is Fleur de Montagne. Montagne. I've never learned French. I'm sorry, everyone. So this one's a beautiful blonde lady. Oh, I think they're both gorgeous. There's 2 others in this series, so who knows, maybe I'll get them too. And I've been thinking about what kind of fabric I want to stitch them on, and it really all depends on what size I want to make them. Because if you put them on 28-piece fabric, they're going to be like, that big. No. Bigger than that, I think, which is too big for me. What I'm looking at right now is either a 36 count, which should be somewhere about 8 by 21 or so, which I think would be good. Like 2 panels, like framed next to each other. I'd have to get them custom framed probably. Did I say that was 36 count? I think that's 36 count, and then the other option would be a 25 count Lugana 1/1. And I can't remember if that would be bigger or smaller than the 30. I think that's smaller than the 36 count. This 36 would be 18 count, is that right? But what I was leaning towards linen and not an 18 count Ada or the Lugana is I would consider doing their skin 1/1. But it would be heck. She's got a lot of skin. Look at her. I mean, she's in the water. She doesn't need lots of clothes on, I guess. She's a little more modest in the mountains. I just think all of the... I mean, go check... I'm going to post the website for Lena Lawson Needle Arts because she's got a lot of really beautiful patterns by a lot of really talented artists. Okay, this is the last section of haul. And it's mainly eBay haul. I bought some leaflets that were pretty cheap that I've been looking at for a while. This one I haven't been looking at for a while, but I saw it and it was only a few dollars, and so it's like $1.50, and so I bought it. It's just really cute little birds. Kind of fat, grumpy birds. It's called a Nestling Sampler. It's by Country Cross Stitch, book number 67. There's robins, cardinals, probably nuthatch, goldfinch, etc., etc. I think 6 different little birds. Oh, I thought they were pretty cute. Let's see what the back looks like. So, I don't know when I'll stitch them, but I just, combined shipping, and it's only $1.50. What can you do? This is another one I got from that sale. It's a Four Seasons Cats by Sudbury House Designer Series. It's number 114. And you have season cats, which can be stitched together or separately. There at the bottom they've got them as tiny little finishes. What I like about these is they're small, but the cats don't look funky, I don't think. Sometimes if you get really small with animals or anything you're doing kind of backstitch detail on, they can end up looking a little funky. So it's from another person. It's called America's Best Loved Cats. The rest of them are cats. I'll go ahead and say it now. The rest of them are cats. So there you can see on the front the American Shorthair. What's fun is all of them have the name of the cats and then like maybe a little thing about them or kind of a fun like border name. So on the back you can see the Tuxedo Cat. is really cute. It says tuxedo. You can see the tabby cat. And then this is actually the reason I bought it. My grandparents had a cat that looked just like this. He was a Maine Coon. And I thought, he died maybe a year ago or so, in the last 2 years. And so I thought maybe that would be nice to stitch for them someday. The other cats they have in here, it's the Himalayan. You have the Abyssinian here. I really like this black cat too. Have Persian. That just says friends. There's your Siamese. This is your Burmese, ginger and white, and Burman. So the Burmese is the brown one. The Burman is this one. Looks like a long-haired Siamese with white toes. And then that's the ginger and white. I think that might be all of them. And I just thought the cats were really well done in here. There's a couple of them that the faces are a little wonky, but I think I could change the back stitch and just adjust a little bit. I bought it for the Maine Coon pattern, and like looking at it, I would probably stitch that for my grandparents, but I don't know really that I'd stitch the rest of these unless I got one of those cats in the future. Just because, like, cat breeds are cool, but I don't need to be putting a random breed on my wall. Okay, there's only 2 more. Almost done here. I'm sure this video is getting long, which is why I decided I was going to split it into 2, and you're not going to get the Mania ones this time. These other 2 are by the same person. Somebody in Stitch Mania was working on a cat design by Mary Ellen Yanich, and it actually was looking really good, so I looked up her stuff on eBay and I found these that I really liked. This is a set of 4 holiday cats. So there you can see the cute little calico in the Easter basket down there, a pretty darn cool black cat there with a pumpkin, Christmas cat making mischief, and a Valentine's Day cat. I like those. And then another seasonal cat group of patterns. Both of these are by the Design Connection Incorporated. The holiday one was book number 94-011. This is book number 94-006. And it is Cats of Seasons. So there you have winter cat with the little chickadees, and fall cat with the fall leaves, summer cat, and spring cat with the butterflies. Summer cats, I should say. There's 2 of them there. I thought those were nice too. These were my favorite of the cat patterns that I found on eBay, so I went ahead and bought them. If I ever complain to anybody that I have nothing to stitch, they have full permission to smack me. Because I'm only in my 20s, but I think I may be getting close. I just heard this recently in someone's Flosstube video. Stash acquisition beyond life expectancy. Sable. I don't know that I could stitch all of this in my lifetime. And I don't feel bad about how much I have, because I do like everything I have. Well, I take that back. There's a couple of the books that I bought used that I think I bought just because I was excited to be able to buy some. But, you know, most of the stuff I have is stuff that I would like in my house, or I could see stitching for myself or stitching for others. There's one more book that is a stash acquisition from eBay, but it's in my Mania pile and I don't want to knock it all over and have to reset it for this next video I'm going to make for you guys. But it's another leaflet, and you'll see it then. Alright, I think that is it. That is everything for this. I don't even know how long it is because it stopped recording on me twice now, and now I'll have to string them together. Hopefully it all fits together. But that's all. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed all of that. Sorry there was so much haul this month. Most likely in the future there will be definitely not as much. There shouldn't be. I can't afford it, so there better not be. Yeah, that's where I'm going to cut it. I might put a little bit of a life update in the next video, just because this one's already so long. So, I'll see you pretty soon for my Stitch Mania plans. And until then, happy stitching, and have a wonderful few minutes, or however it is between when you watch both of these. Or if I don't get it up, have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see you guys again next month. Bye!